Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking you a
categorically,
question. Don't
Mr.
be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can
No,
you
I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today and thank you for networking this information to anyone and everyone you know and love. God knows this platform will never network. We'll never give you notifications. We'll never put this on a featured list. Why? Because, well, they don't want you to know any of this. So they suppress it and oppress it. And that's why DaveJanda.com is so important. No censorship, safe and secure site, content second to none, tremendous amount of information there. Please utilize it. We have our public-facing information. We also have our in-depth subscription content, 30 cents a day, $9 a month. You don't have to sign up for a year, sign up for a month. And it just, you can cancel it after a month. Why? Why would you do it? I don't know. Because, well, we provide priceless information that puts you months, and just speak to any of our subscribers, months, years, and in some cases over a decade ahead of the curve so you can protect yourself. What's interesting is when I talk to people out in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor, they keep saying, Dave, that's conspiracy theory, that deep state, that New World Order stuff, the globalist syndicate called the shadow. That's just, no, it might be conspiracy, but it's conspiracy reality. And the key for our futures, if we want to have freedom and liberty and some empowerment in our own lives, the key is stepping up to reject the cult. They are counting on us sitting on the couch and being silent and, right, having masks on essentially, right, locked down, and not speaking truth, not educating and empowering others. They tell you what they're up to. The big banking families are the head of the cult. Okay, a lot of folks won't give you the names. I do. I get a lot of blowback for it, but I don't care. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Lazards, Pincuses, Warburgs, Seifs, Loebs, and the top, Payseur, Payseur family. David Rockefeller in his autobiography. Now, right now, he is not walking on the planet. He is burning in hell. Much like Jacob Rothschild is, who recently died. Another one of the heads of the banking families. Another globalist, again, not the top pyramid, not the top of the pyramid, but kind of higher middle level. Henry Kissinger, also roasting in hell right now. Another globalist cult. And we'll give a little couple quotes from Hank to kind of solidify what he was all about. But David Rockefeller, in his autobiography, said the following. Quote, some even believe we, the Rockefeller family, are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalists, globalists, and of conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure, a one world, if you will. If that is the charge, I stand guilty, and I am proud of it, end quote. His own autobiography. And you can quote numerous people from these banking families that say the same things. And you just come off that higher end and just go to the upper middle level. Remember, one of the fallacies is that Obama and Bush's and the Clintons and Soros and Schwab and all these goons in government, they're all high level. No, they're middle level, and the banksters will get rid of them as soon as they've outlived their usefulness to them. Okay? But Henry Kissinger was kind of upper middle level, handled some of the political folks. But some of his classic quotes that enshrine him in the Hall of Fame of globalists who are currently roasting in hell. The one thing, Henry Kissinger, quote, the one thing man fears is the unknown. Think about the past 4 years. Yeah, okay. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by a world government, a new world order, end quote. Hank Kissinger. Oh, he has a couple other beauties. Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world. Quote, it's not a matter of what is true that counts, but a matter of what is perceived to be true. Another Hank quote, the elderly are useless eaters, end quote. It's not just the elderly. They think all of us that aren't part of the syndicate, they call us useless eaters. And they believe that we're completely expendable. How about this last quote from Hank? Quote, the illegal we do immediately, the unconstitutional takes a little longer, end quote. Now, and this is about speaking truth to power. About Henry Kissinger, Gore Vidal, the author, when Gore Vidal spotted Kissinger in the Sistine Chapel, gaping at the hell scene in Michelangelo's The Final Judgment, Gore Vidal said to a friend, look, Henry is apartment hunting, end quote. Yeah, and he's there right now. Yeah, where all globalists go. The only unfortunate thing about that situation is we don't have, wouldn't it be nice to have some type of video monitoring? Now, they're all into surveillance, especially illegal surveillance, these cultists, these globalist cults. Wouldn't it be interesting to have just a video monitor of hell? And good old Hank and Jacob Rothschild and David Rockefeller and the rest of the banksters. Just be interesting at a minimum. But the key is calling these folks out when they're still walking the planet. Rob Jenkins from the Brownstone Institute. To the globalist cult, Rob calls him out, we reject your vision of a tightly controlled, centrally planned economy. We prefer free markets, messy as they are, as the engine of producing the greatest possible individual liberty, prosperity, and human flourishing. We reject, globalists, syndicate, your nouveau fascism, in which world governments collude with global corporations, notably big tech, big pharma, to surveil, harass, and ultimately control the rest of us. We don't care if it's for our own good, although we actually sincerely doubt it's for our own good. We'd much rather have self-governance, the freedom to decide for ourselves what is best for us and our families. In short, we reject you, syndicate, the self-styled elites, the smug, sanctimonious limousine leftists who fly your private jets into Davos, then lecture the rest of us about our carbon footprint. We don't think you're in any way smarter or better than us. Indeed, you have proved to our satisfaction that you are not. We do not trust you. We do not want your leadership. We suspect, based on hard experience, that the beautiful things you intend to design and do are not beautiful at all, but rather hideous and lonesome for us, at least. They may be beautiful for you as they increase your power, wealth, and influence, but we care about the magnificent edifice you are constructing for yourselves only to the extent that we wish to tear it down. In the past 4 years have taught us anything, it's that you elites are awful, degenerate people. Your ideas are awful. Your vision of the future is awful. The society you wish to create with yourselves in charge would be unspeakably awful. We reject it, and we reject you. So go away and leave us alone, or else suffer the consequences. Stepping up, speaking out. They want you locked down. They want you mute. They want you on the couch. What Rob wrote and presents to the public. Each of us need to present to our friends and family about what's really going on. John and Nisha Whitehead from the Rutherford Institute stepped up. What do they say? Break the cycle in 2024. Say no to the government's cruelty, brutality, and abuse. Folks, it's time to break the cycle of abuses. Cruel, brutal, immoral, unconstitutional, and unacceptable, that have been heaped upon us by the government for way too long. Here's just a small sampling of what we suffered through just in 2023, just to give you a little reminder. The government failed to protect our lives, liberty, and happiness. The predators of the police state wreaked havoc on our freedoms, our communities, and our lives. The president became more imperial. The presidency itself has become an imperial one with permanent powers. The cost of endless wars drove the nation deeper into debt. The courts failed to uphold justice. The surveillance state rendered Americans vulnerable to threats from government spies, police, hackers, and power failures. Mass shootings claimed more lives. The rich got richer. The poor went to jail. Free speech was dealt one knockout punch after another. Police became even more militarized and weaponized. Schools turned into prisons. The government waged a renewed war on private property. The plight of the nation's homeless worsened. The deep state has continued to try to take over. The takeaway? Everything the founders of this country feared has come to dominate in modern America. What are we going to do about it? Well, the cultists, whose ultimate destination is hell, by the way, Rockefeller, Rothschild, Kissinger. The cult wants you mute, wants you silent, wants you consuming their propaganda on their boob tube, wants you sitting on the couch, wants you locked down. Well, what they want is not happening because of people like you and me. People like me doing these videos, people like you watching these videos and then networking the videos and empowering your friends and family. EU bends the knee to farmers, drops key provisions in the 2040 climate proposal. The European Commission has just bent their knee to protesting farmers throughout the EU. They stood up. They stepped up. Stood up. Made their voices heard. And the cult backed down. Quote, it has to be done, end quote, after court victory for Freedom Convoy, the Canadian truckers. Canadians are now suing their government for the abuse of power perpetrated by the cultists led by Trudeau and his little henchwoman, Breland. We have it here. It's not just Europe, not just Canada and the United States. F around and find out. Truckers warn loads to New York City will start to diminish in number because of the cult and how they've co-opted the just us system. And when these cult puppets decide, whoa, the useless eaters are catching on, we have to show that we care about them. Go back to East Palestine, Ohio. Over a year ago with the Biden administration's, in quotes, controlled burn of toxins, right? Put everybody in harm's way, not just in East Palestine, but throughout that river valley. So after a year, Il Demente, Biden, decides that, well, they're catching on. You know what? They're mad. They're catching on. We got big problems. I got to go there. Show them I care. Yeah, I care. Many East Palestine residents question intentions of Biden's visit a year after toxic train derailment. On the day Joe Biden first visited to East Palestine, more than 1 year after Norfolk Southern freight train derailed and spilled hazardous chemicals, most residents of this eastern Ohio village echoed the same sentiment that trip is too late. It's motivated by complete insincerity and lack of caring. Yeah. Look at the residents of Lahaina, of Maui, of frankly the entire state of Hawaii. They've caught on. with what happened there. There has been a mass awakening in our country and around the world. Tens of millions, actually several hundred million people in the United States are more awake, not woke, awake to the cult and what their freedom-stripping agenda has been about than were awake just a year or two ago. You see, they thought their operation would finish us off and it would be game, set, and match for them, but instead, it opened people's eyes. The very people that were calling people like me conspiracy theorists for presenting information that put people years ahead of the curve. Hundreds of millions, several hundred million in the United States, billions of people around the world. And this has the cult petrified. Which is why you see them launching many of their operations to divert attention and to create what they've always shown is when they create conflict and chaos, they always get more power control and financial resources and their power restored. And it's not happening. Which is why this situation, they can't let go in Ukraine. Why they're escalating issues in the Middle East. Why they're pushing China into Taiwan. Why the border is such a sieve in every country, not just the United States. You see, they're on their heels. They want you to think they're all powerful, but they're on their heels because of this awakening. And what they absolutely abhor is accountability. Well, it's accountability time. I mean, Jacob Rothschild, and Henry Kissinger, and David Rockefeller, and all the banksters in hell, they're learning about accountability. But the banksters still sliming around our planet, and the globalists still sliming around our planet. They don't walk, they slime themselves around, slither around. They're starting to be held accountable. Now, the only way that stops is for me to stop doing videos, for me to start doing the radio show, for me to stop putting our content at davejanda.com, and for you to stop taking that content and listening to it and then passing it on to others in this bucket brigade of truth and empowering others in the process. Well, I'm not going to stop, and you're not going to stop. You see, folks, that's the key to our success. The light of truth, the light of facts, data, science when needed. And that is what ends the cult's reign of terror. Many people will try to pass their operations off as, well, that was a bad accident. That's a coincidence that happened. Or, wow, that's just pure incompetence. No, it's none of the above. Everything that happens is willful. And their endpoint is to strip all of us from our remaining freedoms, liberties, financial resources, health, future, and life. And when we're awakened, their operations come to a grinding halt. Don't let anybody kid you that we're failing. We're not. The only way we fail is if we stop. I'm not stopping. You're not stopping. You need to educate and empower all those you know and love to not stop. And that will end their reign of terror. I thank you for joining me today. Our radio show is live and free every Sunday. You can stream it live. Go to davejanda.com, Sundays, 2 to 5 Eastern. Hit the listen live button. I assure you it is the best radio program on the planet on weekends. Maybe even during the week, if you include that. It's a fire hose of information we provide with outstanding guests, outstanding analysis. Now, if you missed the show, the podcasts are available. They're part of the subscription site. And we have the archives all the way back to October 2010 for you. We also have extra shows, our WTF show, where I bring information I cannot talk about on public platforms. Puts people years ahead of the curve, based on the sources I've developed over 35 years. The WTF show every Wednesday, video format show at davejanda.com on the subscription side, and our Insider Insight show when I bring somebody from behind the curtain to speak about what's really happening. Again, issues we cannot discuss on the radio or on public-facing platforms. Archives to all of our shows. Our Department of Advanced Research show with Nick Ruiz about IT and where things really are, whether it's AI or whether it's cybersecurity or whatever it might be. There's no other platform like it. I encourage you to become part of our Freedom family. You will not be sorry, but you will be educated and empowered, and that is 100% guarantee. I thank you for joining me today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Join us at davejanda.com. Thanks for joining me today.